Breaking news in the influencer boxing scene, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, I think, because what just happened on Twitter today between KSI and Turki Al-Sheikh. That's right, the man that has brought boxing back to prominence. They've sat down for a meeting that I think will change influencer boxing forever. But before we get into the breakdown, I want to take a quick break to say thank you to the sponsor of this video, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. And the app is super easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including Texas and California. Best of all, Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, you play with 5, win or lose, Prize Picks is handing you 50 if you want to keep playing. And all you have to do is download the Prize Picks app and use code WADE when you sign up. So whether it's basketball, MMA, football, boxing, or even esports, Prize Picks is the best place to play daily fantasy sports. Thank you to Prize Picks. And a last reminder for everybody out there, if you are going to play, please do so responsibly. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. And now, let's get into some breaking news. All right, so this was posted about an hour ago, literally, as we're sitting here. It's from Turki Al-Sheikh's account. He says, you versus KSI on Fatal Fury. And then he just has the shrugging emoji, waiting for big surprise. Now, he disabled comments on this post, and we'll get back to why I think that is in a second. But let's take a look and a listen at him and KSI meeting. I wonder if it was mandatory KSI took the headband off. If you're not used to seeing that cranium in its full glory, shield your eyes because it's quite a sight, but let's get into it.
Now we are ready. We have a surprise and in London in the end of April, and in New York in the beginning of May with KSI. There is chance you win to play against him in Fatal Fury video game.
Okay, so let's just stop the video there. We're gonna keep going. There's a lot of things we already have to address. Number one, KSI and Turki Al-Sheikh sitting down at all is a bit of a journey aside from what Turki has said about, you know, his affiliation with pro boxing and his affiliation with influencer boxing.
Jake Paul versus KSI. That's not something you would do?
No, I will not support something like this.
Okay. You care for the sport of boxing?
Even if it is success with the people, I am doing boxing, not show.
And to that point, they don't really talk about boxing in this first part. They talk about a surprise with KSI in London at the end of April and in New York at the beginning of May for the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney card that Ring Magazine is putting on in New York. Ring Magazine's also putting on the card between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. in London. He says there's surprises coming. He says you could potentially play against KSI in the game Fatal Fury, which I'm not a massive video game head, but especially when it comes to like old school fighting games like this, I don't really know. I've never heard of this game. Sorry. But I know people are going to kill me in the comments for that, but I don't really know. But in this first part, I guess, is we get the kind of marriage between what Turki wants to do with KSI in the forefront. Like, hey, KSI, come in and promote these two cards I'm doing in April and in May using Fatal Fury. And honestly, I'm just going to put it out there. He says KSI has a surprise at the end of April in London. The fight between Eubank and Conor Benn is in London. And yesterday at the press conference, Turki called in. I don't know if you guys heard it when I did my video yesterday on that press conference, but he said there's going to be a concert. And I know this is at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And apparently I've been told online they're a super massive rival to KSI's favorite team, Arsenal, and that KSI would never step foot in that building. But I happen to think that there's a possibility we could get a KSI concert on a Ring Magazine card. It makes sense. It's London, 70,000 people. KSI is bound to have some fans that want to sing thick of it, I guess, in front of their friends and family. So I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit. But regardless, even just these first 30 seconds of this video, a lot of little Easter eggs and things that are being teased between Turki and KSI. My big thing is that they're sitting down together at all, and what is about to be said on this thing.
And there is a lot of surprise. And at the same time, I challenge him to have someone fight him in America. We will discuss, me and him, about future opponents. Yeah. But really fighters, really boxers. Not 60 years old.
I don't. There's only one person that does that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We have. I have. There is famous guy here in England. He's 79 years. He's famous in boxing. I can talk with him. I have a great relationship.
Oh
with
wow.
him.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
anyone want to use him.
Yeah. I'm sure there's one guy who would love to take that opportunity for sure.
Okay.
All right, so there we stop because, again, we have to. Turki is essentially saying he is offering KSI the opportunity to fight someone in America. We've heard that Misfits wants to put on a card in America, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Turki Al-Sheikh has always said he did not want to get into influencer boxing because it was a show, not a boxing match. I think that's why he said he wouldn't put on Jake Paul versus KSI back in the day. And this obviously does sound like a bit of a changing of the tune for Turki, involving himself with the influencer boxing kind of aspect of the pro scene. He obviously doesn't have a great relationship with Jake Paul, coming off the back of the Canelo debacle and situation between those two. So this is very interesting. Talking about he wants to set him up with an opponent in America, and obviously making the Mike Tyson jokes to take digs at Jake Paul. And you know, we can go back and forth how that looks compared to KSI and da-da-da. We've done it before. I don't really care at this point. Like, I'm actually excited about this kind of collaboration because it's interesting to see KSI talking with Turki, who is essentially the matchmaker for Riyadh season, even though, you know, you have your promoters and everybody trying to come together. Turki's like, I want to see this guy fight this guy, and they make it happen. So, yeah, there's potentially the idea that KSI and Jake could happen in America and that Turki could bury the hatchet and just do the whole thing. I just don't see, just because of how much bad blood seemed to be there, and even now they're kind of taking the piss out of Jake in this video, I don't know that Jake would come to the table and do business after what happened with Turki. And I don't know that Turki would come to the table and do business with Jake either. So I'm not saying you rule it out, but I don't know that it's likely. But the question is, who would they want JJ to fight in America? He says he wants him to fight a real fighter, not some 60-year-old whatever. And again, this is why I talked about Turki hiding the replies, or, you know, restricting the replies on this tweet. You have to know that for everything that Turki said about, you know, not doing the influencer boxing stuff because it's a circus and it's, you know, not real boxing and it's a show, this is him walking that back a little bit if he's willing to get involved with matchmaking KSI for some fight in America. I'm just going to put it out there. I did say this a couple of weeks ago that Turki is not above doing the circus fights because he did it with Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, and he looks like he's willing to do it with KSI here. A lot of people said, no, wait, it's different. You got it all wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Even Turki said that to me, but it really isn't, as we're seeing now. And again, I think Turki is restricting those comments because people would probably say that, or, you know, the hardcore boxing fans would not like the idea of him stepping into the influencer stuff. But honestly, I have always said I think it's good for boxing and good for combat sports that guys like KSI, like Jake, like even Logan, the big names that don't have to fight yet still are still bringing new eyes to the sport. I don't have any doubt about that at all. But the other part of this that I really do like is the fact that KSI is sitting down with Turki, and Turki and KSI are discussing opponents. Listen, for all the flack that Mams Taylor, that Shoot Fighters, and that honestly KSI have gotten for opponent selection, who better to sit down with KSI than the guy that is being praised for putting matchups together that we never thought we would see in the pro boxing sphere? Whatever you think that the motives are for the collaboration, whether it's just to shit on Jake Paul, whether it's Turki trying to pull a fast one on KSI and put him in there with the real guy that could potentially, you know, end the whole influencer scene without letting KSI know that, or if it's a genuine collaboration because Turki just likes KSI and wants him to be a part of whatever plans Riyadh season has going forward, him being the matchmaker feels like you can get a lot more of the matchups that maybe have been restricted if it's just Mams Taylor, or if it's just Shoot Fighters trying to negotiate on behalf of KSI. We've seen Turki be able to slash through barriers, whether it's broadcasters and distribution that hold up fights. He's starting to just slash through all of that. And you look at what he's doing with not just the boxing side, but Dana White coming into boxing, and potentially some of the guys that are under UFC contract that aren't fighting in the UFC, that may make it difficult to have a boxing match with someone like KSI, and Turki Al-Sheikh being there to be like, well, listen, if they're not going to fight over there, Dana, why don't you just have them fight KSI? I'm just saying, a name like Conor McGregor or Jorge Masvidal or somebody like that may not be the professional boxer, but it's a real fighter, could be open to KSI to fight in a boxing match. Or maybe it is a pro boxer. Maybe it's somebody like the Tommy Fury rematch. Or, although I don't know that it would make a lot of sense to have KSI and Amir Khan in America, or KSI Tommy Fury in America, maybe those options become more available with Turki Al-Sheikh on board. All I'm saying is him sitting down and wanting to matchmake and being actively like excited about doing things with KSI is a very good thing. For KSI, yes, but also for influencer boxing, because much like I've said, wherever Jake and KSI go, the entire thing follows. So this is a net good so far. Is it a little bit hypocritical for Turki to say he's not doing influencer boxing, then go link up with KSI to potentially do that? Yeah, sure. But the question you'll have to ask yourself is, do you really give a f? Because I don't. If the fights that we want get made, I want to see the fights. I want to see what Turki can do with KSI's matchmaking and putting him in there, whether it's in this summer in America or whenever. Just Turki having a hand in this thing, I think, will make things flow a lot easier. Let's get back to it.
I am talking with him now, and surprise him also at the same time, talking about doing something in Alcatraz jail in San Francisco in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very excited to see what happens. Yeah, we got some big things happening, man.
I want my children win and go against you in Fatal Fury.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I can let them win, though. I'll probably have to beat them.
Buy the game now and get the chance to play against KSI in London or New York.
Good luck.
So the end of it there is kind of a nice little wholesome deal. Turki's like, I want my kids to play against you. KSI's like, I'm going to smack your kids in this game. But also you hear Turki talking about the Alcatraz card, which I thought was bizarre when I heard it. But Teofimo Lopez had spoke on this, and Turki had said something about putting a card on in Alcatraz, the actual prison island that holds some of the worst criminals ever throughout history in the United States. Having a card there, I mean, the idea sounds cool. It's kind of like a, on location fight that you wouldn't really expect. Almost like Rumble in the Jungle or Thriller in Manila, like obviously a little different. I don't know what KSI would have to do with any of that shit, but regardless, we are getting a lot of little Easter eggs and hints, and it just seems like Turki's very excited to work with KSI on multiple different fronts. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a KSI concert. I keep remembering the one he did with Danny Aarons and Danny Simpson. I don't know if that's going to be happening in Tottenham because of KSI's hatred for the stadium or whatever, or if it's just going to be him playing the video game with fans or promoting the video game for both the April and May events, because it does seem like Fatal Fury is a big part of the packaging deal around the two fights. And maybe it's one of those give and take situations where it's like, okay, KSI, come in, promote the game, promote all these things, maybe do a concert, and then I will look at making a card and maybe funding a card for you to fight in America and make all types of money around it. So as much as there's a ton of negativity and toxicity and just degeneracy in the boxing community, this feels like a win for influencer boxing. I don't know. It just feels like something to bridge the gap. But that's breaking news, man. Again, I think this is a huge, huge thing. Whatever it is, I don't really know yet. But Turki Al-Sheikh being involved with bringing KSI onto some of his cards, whether it's through promotion or concerts or whatever, and then the bigger part of it, having a hand in matchmaking KSI, it is a power move to me. And again, you see the shots at Jake Paul here. Maybe it's a signal across the ballot. Turki being involved makes things a little more interesting for that matchup if it's ever able to get done, and to put KSI's opponent selection and hopefully career in the boxing ring trajectory on the right path. That's what I think. You guys let me know down below. Breaking news, this Turki Al-Sheikh KSI sit down will change influencer boxing forever. I really believe that, but in what way? I don't have those answers, so I guess we'll find out.